it's shocking about the amount of THC in their systems. In particular, one baby tested 132 times the threshold for a positive result. I mean, we're talking infants here, little children. So it's shocking about what is in there, what was put in their system, what was forced to be in their system.
I want to just start, I guess, with some clarity. When was this lawsuit filed? Because according to the lawsuit, these incidents happened last year in November.
We just filed this case this week. It is fresh and new as a lawsuit. And throughout the time from when this happened to now, there's been a lot of investigations going on, which led us to being able to bring awareness to what happened here and how it could have been prevented.
And just, really quickly, just we read the lawsuit and we understand what happened, but just verify for us again, what initially was found that alerted these parents, to want to seek something to do something.
There should never be a world or a day where a daycare can say, we didn't know a caregiver was smoking and using drugs in a classroom with little babies. That should never happen once, let alone multiple times over a period of time. As we've learned all of these different things about what happened, a couple of things are absolutely true. These infants were forced to get high in their classroom at daycare. The daycare absolutely should have known and failed these children and their families by allowing this to happen, not doing anything to stop it, and not being honest when they actually started to learn the truth about what was going on. It's shocking.
The lawsuit states that originally this employee lied about vaping in the classroom with these kids and was spraying Lysol around themselves to try and mitigate, I guess, the impacts. But these two families that we know of, and there could be plenty more, as it was mentioned, noticed something that was wrong with their kids. When you all did your research and spoke to a medical professional, what did they tell you about the impacts of vaping on children?
So these children were having symptoms unbeknownst to the families for a period of time. When it all came to light was later in time. But this had been happening. And when the families learned about it, it's shocking about the amount of THC in their systems. In particular, one baby tested 132 times the threshold for a positive result. I mean, we're talking infants here, little children. So it's shocking about what is in there, what was put in their system, what was forced to be in their system. And we've seen from the symptoms that these children were having for a long period of time, not knowing what was going on, that in the future, it's going to continue to cause those types of respiratory illnesses moving forward.
So just to confirm what you just said, you believe what you all have learned is that these kids may be dealing with this for a long period of time.
Every child is different. But what we have seen and what we know is that these kids were having symptoms for a long period of time while this was going on. And these families still see at various points impacts that these children have. They're still in their very, very young ages. And so what is going to happen in the future is going to be discovered over time. It's going to be a long road to figure that out.
You were talking about, at the time they were 8, 9 months old, not even a year old yet. And I understand this caregiver was then moved into a class with 3-year-olds. Is it shocking, to learn the ages, not only just the ages, but the fact that this person, I guess, would be around these kids at that young and be doing something like this?
Uh, This entire thing is shocking. We know from reports and investigations that we've gone through that this caregiver had complaints going about her job, and the daycare knew about that. And now, come to find out, this caregiver admits to being high on the job, which makes sense as to why those complaints were happening. And the daycare failed to do anything about it. And she was with infants. Then, when all of this came to light, the daycare still didn't remove her from being in front of kids, didn't put any safety precautions in place to make sure that she wasn't getting high with anyone at the daycare, let alone kids and toddlers, and moved her to a 3-year-old class, and they were never honest with the families at the end of the day. And the daycare still never terminated her. The caregiver resigned.
And so, what, on behalf of these two families that you represent, what are you all seeking? What are you looking for in terms of, not, I guess, not justice, but a response, some sort of accountability, what symbol of that are you looking for?
These families came to us with one mission in mind, and that is accountability and awareness. It is shocking what happened. No family should ever have a situation where their children are being forced to get high at daycare that they're paying for when they're at work and providing for their families. Um, this is all about accountability, taking responsibility, and sending a message to not just this daycare, but every daycare out there. You have to make sure that children's safety is the number one priority for you and for your entire team. That's it. And so these families want accountability, they want justice, and at the end of the day, they want answers for everything that was missed along the way that allowed this to happen.
Mr. Button, a couple more questions for you. First off, can you just confirm that you all learned that the center is on probation now? I've been placed on probation from, I believe, I guess, starting at April of this year through April of 28th of next year.
Yes, the state has placed this daycare on probation, and it is a long-term probation to make sure to see if at a bare minimum level, can they follow the basic minimum standard laws that the state has put in place to try to keep kids safe. So yes, this daycare is on a probationary status right now, that we're aware of.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.